Hi everyone, it's Adriana. Welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I'm going to be doing my part 2 of the mini album tutorial. So I already did part 1 and we just made this. This is our album base. So it's a 6.5 by 6.5 album. If you want to learn how to make the album base and how to make the pages and the hinge system, then go check out that video. It's the one that's right before this. I'll probably link it in the description. So anyways, yeah, so today we're going to be doing part 2, and we're just going to be basically doing the flips and flaps for each of the pages. This video is probably going to be a little bit long. The last one was long as well. But yeah, so anyways, let's get started with our tutorial. I already have my pieces cut. You don't need that many pieces. It looks like a lot, but it's not that many. So I went through and cut everything just so it was ready for the video. Obviously you can cut one at a time. You don't have to do everything at once, but so you're gonna need 2 pieces that are 4 and I wrote it, but you can't, oh yeah, you can see it. So it's 4 5/8 by 4 1/8, and then on the 4 5/8 inch side, I scored it at 1/2 inch, or well, at 4 1/8. So you get this like 1/2 inch little flap, and so I scored it, so I fold it over, and then we end up with this square is 4 1/8 by 4 1/8. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. So we need 2 of those pieces. So originally 4 5/8, but with the scoring, you'll end up with 4 1/8 by 4 1/8. It makes sense in my mind, but I don't know. I might be like wording it weird. I know everybody kind of learns differently. So if I'm saying it in a weird way, like just read the measurements and I promise it'll make sense. So you need 2 of these, right? Because we're doing 2 pages. So this is going to be for 1 page and this will be for this page, okay? So 2 of those. And then let's just start with our first page though, okay? So 1 of these for our first page. And then our other piece that we need for this page, because remember, this is what we're making. We're making this. This is the layout for our first page. So we have this and then this. So pretty simple. 2 little flips, real simple. So then you'll need this other piece that is this size. So we'll need also 2 of these because you'll need another one for the this page. I guess it's technically page 3. I guess it's page 3. But yeah. Anyways, so you need 2 of these, and this is 5 1/8 across by 6 1/8 tall, and then it's scored on the 6 1/8 side at 5 5/8. So you're creating that 1/2 inch flap, and that's just so we can use this flap to kind of glue down to glue it down onto our album. So once you fold that over, after you score it, then this should be 5 1/8 by 5 5/8. Okay, so now that's all you need for your first piece. Sorry, I can't talk. So now that's all you need for your first page. You just need this piece, and I'm gonna try to show you the measurement a little bit better. Hopefully you can read that. And then you'll need this piece. So what's gonna happen is we're basically gonna use this 1/2 inch flap, and we're gonna glue this right up here, and then this one is gonna be glued this way onto this piece, okay? I am gonna just glue this onto here first. So before I glue it down though, I like to cut a little bit off, just like that, just a little bit. It just makes it a little bit easier to kind of, I don't really know why I do it. I guess it just makes it easier to like glue it down. I don't know. But anyways, so then on the other one, I'll do that as well. Just cutting off like a little angle on the corners. There we go. Okay, so now I'm going to glue down this piece, and this is our page 1. So I'm going to glue this down right here. And the way that this is measured is because remember our pages are 6 1/8 by 6 1/8. So the way that the math works out is this is it'll be about 1/2 inch on each side. If you need help lining this up, just use your ruler. Your ruler is your best friend. So I made my 1/2 inch marks with my ruler, and then I'm just gonna place this on here, and that's where it's gonna go. So now I'm gonna grab my adhesive, and you don't have to measure. You can like wing it, like it's fine. You can just eyeball it. I like to measure, not all the time, but sometimes I do, just to make sure that it's, especially if it's like a weird measurement or something, I just like to make sure that it's gonna be like centered, you know. Anyway, so I always put a little bit of my tape runner, and then I do a little bit of my liquid glue, and I was running out of my liquid glue. I finally went and got a new one though the other day when I went to Joann's, because they have it there. So anyways, so now I'm gonna put my piece on here, and I'm just gonna line it up at the top of my page, okay? Okay, I think that looks good. And I'm trying to like push it as close to the top of the page as I can without it like going over the page, because I don't want it to be like sticking out or anything. So then use my bone folder, just press it down, press, press, press. And now that's on there, that's good to go. So now let that dry. And then we have our first little like flip, okay? So, another tip also, real quick, writing your measurements on here will help you, if you're not like directly doing the pattern paper, like right after you glue it down. It'll help you like measure your pattern paper. Like I know that this is 5 1/8 by 5 5/8. So I know my pattern paper is gonna be 5 by 5 1/2 because it's gonna be 1/8 inch smaller. That's just the size that I'm doing. You might like it to be like 1/4 inch smaller, like whatever your border is that you wanna do. But anyways, so having some sort of like measurements on here will just help you out later on. So you don't have to go back in with your ruler and be like, oh, what was this size? Like, I don't know what I was doing. So, so yeah. So then this one is gonna go right on here. And you know what? I'm not gonna measure. I'm just gonna eyeball it because I don't want to deal with the big numbers and, well, not big numbers, but like, I guess just weird measurements. I just don't want to deal with it. So I'm just gonna glue it and eyeball it. You can definitely measure, just, you know, make sure it's the same like width, or not width. Yeah, width. The same like space on both sides of the paper. But I don't want to do that. I decided I don't want to do that. Because it's still gonna look good. Like I can eyeball it pretty good. And it's not something that has to be like perfect. So I'm just not really gonna worry about it, you know. So I'm just gonna eyeball this, and I'm gonna glue it to this side, and I feel like that's pretty good, right? Yeah, I think that's good. Okay, and then once again, I'm just gonna press it to the edge of that paper, or to the edge of that like flap, but I don't want it to like accidentally glue down onto my page. That looks pretty good. And there we go. So that's it. Our first page is done. Super easy, okay? You just need these two pieces, and then your book's gonna go like this, and then like this. And it's gonna be so cute with all your pattern paper and your embellishments. Let's go to our next page. Our next page is also super, super simple. You just need two pieces, whatever color cardstock you're using. And you're gonna do, let's see. So this is 5 5/8 by 6 1/8, okay? and then you're going to score on the 5 5/8 inch side at 5 1/8. Okay, so we have that 1/2 inch flip. So then we score that, fold it over. Now we should have 5 1/8 across, and then 6 1/8 up and down. Okay, so that's what your measurements should be at. And you're gonna need 2 of those, and they're the same exact measurement, same thing. And another thing, since this is 6 1/8, since it's like reaching all the way top to bottom of our page, I just usually will go in and like line it up and just make sure it's not like going over the page. So I'm gonna show you, but so I'm lining it up at the top of my page right here. Okay, I'm lining that up, and do you see how on the bottom, it's really hard to tell, but on the bottom there's a tiny bit of overlap. Like this paper is a little bit longer than my actual like page, so that means I just need to cut off like a little tiny sliver. Okay, so now we have our pieces ready to go. I cut off a little sliver so that they are perfectly lined up, and I'm just going to cut off the corners once again on this little 1/2 inch flap. Just makes it easier, and it especially makes it easier too when like how our paper goes all the way, it'll go all the way across the page, like just so you don't have any, like once you glue it down so there's no like overhang or anything. Like it just helps if you're not like doing it exactly like perfect. Like it just helps because obviously we aren't gonna do everything perfect. Like it just makes it easier, and it makes sure that you're like doing it right, I guess. I don't know. Like, guys, sometimes I just say stuff and I don't even know what I'm talking about. Like, I know what I'm talking about, but sometimes it's hard to like explain exactly what I'm trying to say. Like, oh my gosh. Okay, so now we're ready to attach this one. I got my adhesive on there, and I'm just gonna line it up to the edge of the paper. And I'm not taking it all the way to the inside of the hinge or anything. I'm just taking it to the inside of the paper, okay? I feel like that looks pretty good. Yeah, I think that's on there, right? So now just press that down. Oh, and I put it on upside down too because, yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter, but it's just my measurements are upside down now, but it's fine. I can still flip it over and read them. Okay, so now we have that. Now we're going to add our next one. All right, so now I'm going to glue it on the other side, and I'm going to just open this. It just makes it easier so it's not like in my way. And then I'm going to glue this one onto this other side. Okay, just gonna line it up on the edge, press down once it's good to go. I need to kind of bring this closer just so I can actually see it. Sorry guys, 1 second. Is that on there right? I feel like that's not quite on there right. There we go. Kind of. Why is it kind of crooked, guys? Like, what am I doing wrong here? No, I think I'm just... There we go. Okay, that looks good. That's good. Okay. Now we have that one on there. I'm just going to use my bone folder to make sure it stays and make sure it gets nice and stuck down. So now we have our page 2. So 2 little flips right there. Nice and easy, okay? So I feel like this album is really good for beginners. Like I feel like it's pretty simple. So there we go. That's our first 2 pages. So now, just like in the other album, this first page is going to be exactly like this third page. And our second page, the one we just did, is going to be exactly like our 4th page, okay? So it's going to be the same thing. I'm not going to do it again for you just because it's going to make the video longer, and it's going to take too long. And I already showed you. So hopefully the one time was good enough. Hopefully I'm making sense with everything I'm saying. If you have additional questions though, let me know. I can give you some tips if you're having trouble with it. Because I know when I started doing albums, like, I mean, now they're pretty simple for me, but before they were like very confusing. Like, so anyways, so yeah, so I'm not going to show you the last two. I'm still going to do the last two, but I want to start using pattern paper and decorating. All right, guys, so it's actually a couple days later. I am finishing filming this tutorial. I don't really know exactly where I left off, but I know that I showed you guys how to do this page and that they would be the same for this page and this page. Anyways, but before I do any sort of like paper matting with the pattern paper, I wanted to show you how to do the pockets for up here, okay? So we're gonna do one pocket here and then probably another pocket back here. I'm just gonna show you at one time though, because it's the same on both. So I have this piece of cardstock. It's just cut at 7.5 long by, what is this, 3. Yes, 3 inches. So 3 inches tall and 7.5 wide. So on the 7.5 inch side, I'm going to score a 1/2 inch on, actually, let me do it this way first. So on the 3 inch side, I'm going to score at 2.5. And then there's that. And then I'm going to go and score on the 7.5 inch side at 7. And then also don't mind my ripped up sweater. Like it's, I know it's a mess, but I need to go clothes shopping, guys. Anyways, and then I'm gonna fold that over and then gonna put this up to the 6.5 inch mark and then score that. Okay, so you're just scoring 1/2 inch on 3 sides, these 2 sides, and then on the bottom, okay? So I'm gonna just fold these in, and then this bottom one, fold in. That should be good to go. I'm gonna use my bone folder just to crease it. So now, once we have that, I'm gonna grab my scissors and I'm just gonna cut these little corners off right here. Just gonna cut like this. Just cut that little corner off, and then same thing over here. It just makes it easier to fold these pieces over if you cut off the corner a little bit. Okay, and then I'll press this back down, and then this is how our pocket is gonna come together, and then we'll glue it down on our album. So first, I'm gonna grab, before I glue this down, I like to just test it and make sure that it fits like pretty well. Yeah, that looks good. Yeah, that's good. Okay, so I'm gonna grab my tape runner and I'm just gonna put adhesive on this bottom flap, okay? I'm just gonna put that on there. Okay, and then I'm gonna get my liquid glue and put a little bit on there. Okay, and then we have our liquid glue, and I just kind of like to fold these outer parts. I like to fold these in. It just helps me like lay this down right. So these don't have adhesive. It's just this bottom part that has the adhesive. So that's the only thing that we're sticking down right now. So I'm gonna just line this up at the bottom and on the sides. Oops. It's really hard to do this like accurately when I'm trying to like film it. Press with my bone folder. Okay. And then we didn't glue these sides down, so this kind of is open, okay? So now, before we glue, or actually before we do anything else, we're gonna use some tape. Now you can use packing tape, like clear packing tape, or you can use this just like clear, like gift wrap tape. Just some sort of clear tape. Well, it doesn't even have to be clear, I guess, but just some kind of tape. and we're gonna tape the bottom. I kind of like measure it. So we're gonna put tape on this like flap right here, okay? And the reason is because when our pocket, let me set this down. When our pocket is closed and we're putting in like different like cut aparts, it can get caught right here on like that lip, okay? So if we put tape over that, it just kind of blocks it, and it just kind of like smooths it down. So then it'll go like all the way in there, all the way in the pocket, instead of getting caught like that. Does that make sense? So it just helps with that. So packing tape is fine. This tape is fine as well. It's covering just something that's, you know, gonna cover your like little like lip right there, if that makes sense. So let me just make sure that's, yeah, so I'm gonna just put that over there, and there we go. And this tape is not very like wide at all, so it's not gonna, I know it's like when I put my pocket, when I glue it down, you're not gonna see the tape, like the tape is gonna stay under there. So anyways, I just put that on there, press it down, make sure it's really stuck on there. And then now when you put your cut apart in, it doesn't get caught. It just slides all the way down, okay? Because that tape is pretty thin, so it's not creating really another lip. It's just, it's smooth, it's good to go. So now, since we put our tape on there, we can fold these in, add our adhesive, and then glue that down. And I actually just realized I forgot to do something. So before you glue this down, on your pockets, okay, on the flap, you want to cut from like this score line just over here. You just want to cut just a little piece of it off. You don't have to, but what it does is, so now when we fold this over, you have no chance of seeing that like little like lip, or that like little, I don't know how to make that make sense. It just looks better like when it's folded over, just to make sure that nothing is like that this isn't peeking out of the pocket, like if you didn't cut your paper like perfectly. Anyways, so just cutting a little bit off. It's a lot easier if you just cut it off when it's not glued in, but anyways, so that is on there, ready to go. And then I'm just gonna add my adhesive on here and then just press it down like that, and then we're good. So let me do that real quick. Okay, so now we have our pocket glued down, and you are pretty much good to go. And you have all the measurements now to be able to go and make your album. I don't think this time I am going to do a paper matting video. Maybe after I do like a couple more tutorials or something. I don't know. We'll see. But for now, this is the tutorial, and you have all the measurements, so you should be good to go. But I will eventually do like a paper matting video. I just don't think this album is going to be the one. Just because I'm, I haven't really done tutorials yet, so I'm still kind of, figuring it out and trying not to make the videos super long, even though it already is really long. But anyways, so also quick tip, don't glue down your pocket all the way. Oh my goodness. It's just because I'm filming that I'm like forgetting the things that I normally do. But what I'll usually do is glue down the pattern paper on here and then glue the pocket down on top of it. It just makes it easier, but it's totally fine. I mean, you can do it like that, but what I mean is like, now that I have my pocket in here, I'm gonna have to put adhesive and then like kind of slide this in the pocket a little bit to be able to make sure that it's like, good to go. And this is definitely gonna be double matted. I'm probably gonna use some pink in my stash that I have. But just because this doesn't go all the way to the edge, or there's just too much of a border. Anyways, I'm getting off track. But anyways, so yeah, you'd kind of have to like slide this in there in a way, and it's kind of just, it just makes it kind of difficult. So So don't glue your pocket down. Save your pockets for last. You can always come back and add pockets after. Everything else, like these flips and flaps, you want to do before your pattern paper, but the pockets can be after because they're pockets that are going like on top of it. So if that makes sense. So anyways, but that's the video. I am going to finish this album, use my pattern paper, and then I will be back with a project share. Just to recap a little bit, you know, I already showed you the measurements for these ones. You can totally do this different, however you want to do it. What I am going to do though is also probably add another pocket back here. And then I'm going to do the same thing on this page that I did here with these flips. And then on this last page, I'm going to do the same thing here. Now, in the middle here, I did have a waterfall in my other album that I showed you guys. And you can definitely do that. It does add a couple more, you know, spots for photos. I think that's great. But I also think this is really simplistic. And it's a good kind of beginner album. The only reason I'm not adding a waterfall right here is because I don't have that many cut aparts. I just have these like little 4x4 ones that I showed you guys. And I'm already going to be using those, like one on this page and then one on this page right here, and then some for the pockets. And so I'm just not really going to have that much. And then I'll need one for the cover, which is probably going to be this one. But anyways, so I just, I'm probably not going to do a waterfall, but, definitely if you want a tutorial for a waterfall, I can do it. I didn't put it in this video because there's just so many videos about like people doing a waterfall. It's basically just, you cut this, like this same thing, this 4 5/8, but well, it just depends on what size your cut apart is. But if you have 4x4 cut aparts, you do 4 5/8 by 4 1/8, score at 4 1/8, so it creates this like border, and you just like glue, you make like a couple of them, however many you want to do, and then you just glue one down, do another one, and like stack it like this. So like this is the same piece as this, you just glue it right there, and then that would be your little like waterfall. Anyways, I'm not going to do a full tutorial on it because it's pretty simple. You just have to try it. But I promise there's lots of videos already doing waterfalls. And like I said, I don't want to make this video super long. So I'm not going to be doing the waterfall this time. But like I said, if you do want me to show you a waterfall, I can do it. That's totally cool. But there is definitely some great videos out there. Yeah, so this is just a simple tutorial I feel like it's really good for beginners. It's really simple. There's not too much going on. And then, yeah, so I will be back in the next video to kind of, I'm going to finish this album and I'll be back to show you the completed album. And I'm really excited for how it's going to turn out. So that is all that I have for today's video. I hope that you enjoyed this little like 2-part tutorial. I know it's like a lot of me talking and just like, I don't know, the videos are a little bit long, and so just bear with me. You know, eventually I will make tutorials a little bit more like cohesive and just more, I guess, I don't know. I feel like I kind of over-explain things sometimes, and I don't try to. I just want to make sure that I'm like saying it so you guys understand like what I'm talking about. But anyways, so hopefully my future tutorials will be a little bit shorter and less rambly. I know that I just like to talk a lot, and I'm sorry about that. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoy the video. Let me know if you need any additional measurements, or if you, I don't know, let me know if you need anything from me. So anyways, that is all for today, and I will see you guys in the next video, and I will have the completed album project share for you as soon as I get it done. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.